Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. And today is Monday, fun day, gun day.
I stop what you're doing, cause I'm about to ruin the image of me that you're used to. I look money, a king bee making honey, see? Deep state, I hope you're ready for me. Now gather round, I'm the new sheriff in town. All my people rise up and stand your ground. Now drink up all the Diet Coke you got on your shelf. So just let me introduce myself. My name is Trump D. I like my mashed potatoes lumpy. Fake news, oh how I like to punk thee. That little sniper on the slope tin. He took a shot but he missed me. I don't fall, y'all, I'm like the ever ready bunny. Still going strong and spunky. So put on your big boy pants. Come on, let's do the dance.
The Trumpy dance is your chance to do the Trump.
Come on, do the Trumpy Trump. Come on and do the Trumpy Trump. Check me out, y'all. We do the Trumpy Trump. Just watch me do the Trumpy Trump. Yeah. Do you know what I'm doing? We do the Trumpy Trump. Come on, everybody do the Trumpy Trump. It's time to do the Trumpy Trump. Yeah.
That's right, folks. It is time to do the Trumpty Trump and have a good old time while you're doing it. It's Monday. We're having a good time. We're partying because, well, let's just be real. Things are going well in the new administration. And I still can say new because we're talking yesterday, celebrated the 6 month, I'm about to say 1 year, the 6 month anniversary of President Trump taking office. And so many good things are happening. And, the sad thing is that not only are good things happening, but a lot of really challenging things, bad things that happened during the last administration are being revealed. And I know Democrats don't like it. I know they don't like hearing about it. They are just so flustered because they're like, why is everybody talking about the past? And why are we talking about, Joe Biden? And Joe Biden's not president anymore. We should be talking about Donald Trump and how horrible he is. But he's not. And what's really being revealed here is as these discussions continue to go on is the fact that he's part of what he's doing is twofold. Number one, he's revealing a lot of the stuff that we knew, well, that conservatives knew, that people who weren't following the lamestream media, the lamestream legacy media, we knew were going on with the past administration. But he's revealing a lot of it. And we're also we're starting to see now the consequences of many of the decisions that were made by the Biden administration. And so anyway, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. We're going to talk a lot about, specifically I want to focus on, and a lot of it's going to talk around New York City. A lot of it's going to be around the shooting of the Border Patrol, the off-duty Border Patrol officer. But before we get into any of that, we got to do what we got to do. You know what that is. That means pay the bills. And we're going to start off with a quick shout out to our sponsors. And we're going to start with Hitman Industries. They sell rifle and pistol caliber barrels available for you to purchase. If you purchased an AR recently, chances are you already have one of their barrels. Well, why not, if you're looking to rebarrel an old rifle, or maybe you're just looking to a brand new build, why not start with the best barrels in the market? Once again, rifle and pistol caliber barrels available at any length. All you got to do is order them at hitmanindustries.net. Then you've got the California Republican Assembly working to help elect conservatives at all levels of government, from school board all the way up to President of the United States. Ronald Reagan once referred to them as the conscience of the Republican Party. You need to find out why. Visit their website at cragop.org. That's cragop.org. Go there, check them out. Trust me, I think you'll like what you see. If you want to be a part of California's future today, you got to join CRA. And then we've got Hog Holsters, the best concealed carry tactical holsters available on the market. Just go to hogholsters.com. Make sure you use the discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces, one word, just like it is right up there. And you're going to get a discount on us. So go there, check it out today, hogholsters.com. That's HAWG holsters.com, helping Americans wear guns. And then you've got if you have a group together, if you have a group of folks and you're looking to buy any sort of outdoor gear, tactical gear, you're looking to buy boots, you're looking to buy hats, you're looking to buy whatever tactical gear you need, backpacks, you name it, you can find all things tactical except the gun at uscombatgear.com. They have a huge selection. They have competitive pricing. They have the best customer service available on the market. Go to their website, check them out, spend some money with them. Trust me, I promise you will like what you will like the experience. You will enjoy it. And make sure you tell them it was the guys over at the Rundown that sent you over there at uscombatgear.com. Take a moment, visit all of them, check them all out. Trust me, you cannot go wrong with any of these folks. Also, want to remind you, if you're watching the show live, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, you're watching the show live, which means we will be responding to your comments. So go ahead, give us a shout out. Let us know what's up. Let us know how you're enjoying the program. Let us know if you have any questions, or just, let us know if you have any thoughts. We would love to hear. If we find it to be interesting, we'll share it with our audience. And, if we don't find it interesting, we won't. And just so you know, interesting doesn't mean that you have to agree with us. In fact, I like it when you disagree with us because it gives us an opportunity to correct you. Yeah, no, I was right the first time. Chances are we will mock you if given the opportunity, because it's so much more fun. Or as Mike would like to say, we will mock you. Anyway, we're going to have a good time. Once again, thank you, everybody. And by the way, if you have not already done so, please make sure like, share, subscribe, and encourage your friends to do the same. All right, we're going to start talking about this first story here. I got to tell you, I know this sounds like we sound almost like a broken record, right? Because it seems like we're reporting one of these stories almost every day, right? We're talking about a story where someone who entered the country illegally. When I say entered the country illegally, I mean they came into the country during the Biden era administration. They were caught and they were released. These are people they wind up getting caught, getting released. They wind up getting convicted of or charged with multiple crimes, and then they wind up getting released into the public again because, well, in these sanctuary jurisdictions, they don't want to risk turning them over to ICE. But then they turn around and they escalate and they escalate and they escalate until eventually somebody gets raped, somebody gets murdered, somebody gets shot. Well, in this particular case, we're talking about an individual who is the victim in this particular case was an off-duty Customs and Border Patrol agent. And once again, the two guys who wound up shooting him are guys who had these long rap sheets. These are guys who had been in and out of jail. Let me read the story here for you. This being reported by the New York Post. The second illegal immigrant arrested over the shooting of an off-duty Customs and Border Protection officer was free despite a series of arrests and is also a suspect in a scooter robbery ring tied to nearly 30 snatch and grabs, sources said. I'm not going to say the guy's name. He's 22. He was nabbed by ICE agents Monday during the arrest of fellow Dominican Republic national, I'm not going to say his name either, who happens to be 21, for allegedly ambushing an agent and his female companion in Manhattan's Fort Washington Park. He is accused of shooting the 42-year-old officer who fired back with his own gun during the confrontation Saturday. While I'm not going to say the guy's name, allegedly helped with the robbery, officials said, quote, "It's a case that we will continue to work on. That he was a part of the robbery on Saturday night, and hopefully he will face consequences for being a part of that." Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem during a fiery news conference in Harlem on Monday. And here's a thing out of Fox News where they're talking a little bit about the story.
So this new information is continuing to come in now about the two illegal immigrants accused of shooting an off-duty Border Patrol agent in New York City. That agent hospitalized, recovering after he was shot in the arm and shot in the face during that attempted armed robbery in Manhattan's Riverside Park on Saturday night. Now we're learning the two suspects are expected to be charged in federal court later today. So this is what happens when DHS lands in the morning with the border czar and they get things rolling in a sanctuary city. It takes that level of participation and leadership to push against the crazy policies in New York City. Anyway, both these suspects were previously caught and released at the border under the previous administration, and they each have a lengthy history of violent crime. This is Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner. Joining me today, Kennedy, host of Kennedy Saves the World podcast. Cheryl Casoni, Fox Business anchor and host of American Dream Home on Fox Business. Nicole Parker, Fox News contributor and former FBI special agent. And Griff Jenkins, Fox News national correspondent. Great to have them. Well, now officials are releasing the identities of the two men accused of shooting that off-duty Border Patrol agent. Both suspects are from Dominican nationals who illegally entered America under Biden's presidency, I should say. They each had active deportation orders and a string of prior arrests for serious crimes. But thanks to Democrat sanctuary policies, they were allowed to remain in the country and on the streets. Multiple ICE sources are telling Fox News now that both men are believed to be the same men accused of an armed robbery in Massachusetts earlier this year. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem and Border Czar Tom Homan visited that injured border agent in the hospital this morning, and they called on Democrat leaders to take accountability for their sanctuary policies.
I'm calling on every single mayor and sanctuary city and sanctuary governor to change their policies and to change their tactics right now. Their job is to take an oath to protect the public.
I visited the officer last night. Of course, he was heavily sedated, so I didn't have words with him, but I did talk to his family. They're devastated. I buried Border Patrol agents. I buried ICE agents. Luckily, thank God, we're not burying one today.
And it is only luckily, and by the way, it's not just luck, it's also probably the superior training that this individual had. Excuse me. I've said it before and I'll say it again. 100% of the crimes that are committed by those who are in this country illegally could have been stopped if we had actually been enforcing our borders. 100%. This shooting did not have to happen, right? And the worst part about it is that they had an active deportation order. They knew they weren't supposed to be here. One of them actually, once again, he had his hearing. He came in illegally. They said, okay, well, we're gonna put you on parole and we're gonna let you go. And then they let him go. He didn't show up, so then he had a deportation order. I mean, I don't understand why this is so hard for Democrats to understand. I really don't. I get they're saying, well, they just want to be here. And I do not doubt that there are people who have come to this country, who have come here in the last few years of during the Biden administration, who do just want to come here, who do just want to, live the American dream, who do want to work hard. I don't doubt that one bit. But when you just blanket let people in, you don't know, you can't tell the difference between who the good guys and who are the bad guys. You don't know because you didn't vet any of them. You just let them in. And the worst part is that you keep letting in bad actors like these two guys. People who you know are bad actors. Right? Not only, if you didn't know who they were when they came here the first time, when you got them in court, when you put them in, when you got them here, and then they wound up committing crimes, you knew who they were. Why wouldn't you deport them? Why would you just let them back out on the streets? All because you don't want Donald Trump to get a win. All because you don't want Donald Trump to look good by getting rid of those who are in this country. Though, let me clarify, let me take a step back. You don't want Donald Trump to get a win by cleaning up the mess that you made. That's what it is. That's what it really comes down to. And you if you want to know why you have agents now going to Home Depots, why you have folks going into neighborhoods. And by the way, they're not just doing this randomly. They are going places where known criminal aliens are. Now, if you happen to be in the country illegally, and you get caught during one, then you're going to go too. They're not necessarily looking for you, but they're not going to throw you back. I like the analogy that Mike used. Mike might be, well, if I'm going out fishing for, one sort of fish and I wind up drawing in a tuna, right? Or I wind up drawing in a catfish, I'm not going to throw the catfish back. Just because I wasn't fishing for catfish doesn't mean that I'm going to throw the catfish back. No, you can cook them up and eat them too. Well, in this particular case, just because they weren't there looking for someone who was merely in the country illegally, an undocumented immigrant, doesn't mean that they're going to just let you go. And by the way, and I'll say it again, they wouldn't be in these neighborhoods if it weren't for the fact that the Biden administration and the sanctuary cities and the sanctuary states, well, I guess there's only one, as far as I know, there's only one sanctuary state, and that is the state of right here, California. But all of these sanctuary jurisdictions, when you tell your law enforcement not to work with ICE, well, they've got to go after these folks some way. And the way in which they're going after them is they're going where they know they are. And that happens to be in the neighborhoods, that happens to be in the communities, that happens to be at places of work. They're going there because you won't allow them to go get them where they know they should be, is in jail. You don't, not only do you not keep them in jail, you don't even let ICE know when you're going to be releasing them. In fact, I was just reading a story where the Maryland man, the wife beating, human trafficking illegal immigrant gang member from Maryland. Oh, I'm sorry, they call him the Maryland man or the Maryland father. Yeah, his lawyers are asking that he not be released. Right, so he's back here in the U.S. They're asking that he not be immediately released because they know that if they release him, he's going to get deported. They know that they just won't deport him to El Salvador, which is the whole point of the order anyway. The whole point of the stay on the order was not that he could not be deported. It was that he couldn't be deported to El Salvador. Anyway, folks, this is all very interesting. It's frustrating because, once again, these are crimes that could have been stopped. They didn't have to happen. They did not have to happen. And as you saw there, you had Noam was basically was very frank. She's like, look, it's these sanctuary policies that are doing this, right? It's the sanctuary policies that you folks are putting in place that is allowing these things that's allowing these things to happen. And that's the reason why you've got folks who are saying that they're gonna quote unquote flood the zone, and that's what you've got Tom Homan right now. And unfortunately I didn't pull the video of Eric Adams kind of denoting what would happen when he said when Homan said he would flood the zone. But he did have a response. He says, I have nothing to do with the rules that are put in place. Mayor Adams responded to administrative criticisms over sanctuary policies. And to his credit, he was not the one who put in those policies. But let me read a little bit here from the Fox News story. It says there, after borders are Tom Homan vowed to, quote, flood the zone with ICE agents in response to the shooting of an off-duty U.S. Customs and Border Protection officer in New York City. Eric Adams answered whether he will cooperate with the Trump administration's crackdown. Adams said he would support any efforts to go after dangerous people like this individual who shot an innocent Customs and Border Patrol agent. Quote, if he's going to assist us to go after those individuals, I welcome it, he said, adding if it's going to be go after everyday individuals who are trying to complete the path to be a citizen, I don't think we should do that. Adams, who is running for re-election as an independent, addressed the shooting during a press conference Monday. He said he visited the injured officer and that he is extremely angry that we have a Customs and Border Patrol officer that is in the hospital because a person should not have been on our streets was actually on our streets. Now, the challenge that he's going to have with this particular position is this. The reason why he's on the streets is because of the sanctuary policies of places like the city of New York. And yes, I get it. You didn't put those policies in place. But now you're saying that, okay, if it comes to going after criminals, violent criminals, then yes, you will help. Well, does that or does that not violate the sanctuary policies of the city of New York? And by the way, he's not these two guys who they've now apprehended they're not the only violent criminals that are there in New York City that have been released, that have been caught and released. One, caught by the Biden administration at the border and released, or then number two, caught by folks in your city and released because you won't tell ICE that they're there. We know this. Once again, I said it before and I'll say it again. This is not the first story where we have where we have read, where we have talked about illegal immigrants or people who are in the country illegally being caught and released and let go and then turning around and committing even more serious crimes. This is not the first. This isn't even the first for the city of New York, right? So if it's not the first for the city of New York, it's happening all over the country, mostly in sanctuary jurisdictions, overwhelmingly in sanctuary jurisdictions, but it's happening all over the country. And it's happening because we are not enforcing the law. And I'm going to say this to those of you out there who are Democrats. Let me tell you, if you want to know why you lost the last election, yes, affordability and inflation was huge, and it was probably in most people's for most people it was the number one reason. Not just because things got expensive and there was inflation, but because your policies contributed to it significantly, and then you tried to tell us it wasn't happening. You literally lied to people and said, no, prices are going down. Inflation rate was going down, but prices weren't. Prices were still going up, and people were experiencing it. And then you continued those same lies when you said, there's not more crime. There's no problem at the border. You lied. In fact, if it had not been for border states shipping illegal immigrants or them deciding to send a lot of these folks to sanctuary jurisdictions, the media would have never talked about it. I mean, it had been going on for a good 2.5 years before you saw story one in the media. We're talking over 200,000 illegal immigrants a month were crossing the border, and they had nothing to say. They're like, there's no problem. You had Mayorkas. The border is secure. What? What? No. Now we know what's the problem. And once again, it's not just that a bunch of people came. It's that a bunch of people came from all over the world, and we don't know who they are. And we have good intelligence that a lot of these folks were criminals that were let out of jail, in particular from Venezuela. They were let out of jail and sent up here to the United States. And that's kind of bearing it out. Right? Now, I'm not saying, I'll say it again, because somebody's eventually going to say something, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that every single person who came up, I'm even going to tell you that most of the people who came here are violent criminals and wanted to do harm to the United States. But I'll say it again. If it was 1%, let's say I picked the low number of 1%, right? And let's say the low number of people who came during the Biden administration. Let's say 10 million. 10 million is a very, very low estimate. I'm sure it was much more than that. If 1% of them came here to rob, kill, destroy, do damage, that's 100,000 people. 100,000 people. Just 1%. Right? That's untenable because we don't know who they are. The worst part is that of the 10 million, we don't know who the 100,000 are. Once again, if we're using even very, very low and conservative numbers. But you can't tell Democrats that because, well, orange man mean, orange man bad. That's what it comes down to. Orange man bad. So therefore, anything that we do against orange man is okay. Now, Adams, unfortunately, it's looking like it's going to be too little too late for him in this particular election because, well, let's just be honest. He's probably on his way to losing this particular race because the Democrats have nominated a communist. I'll call him a socialist, but basically he wants the government to take over. Mondani has actually advocated for the government taking over grocery stores. He's talked about government-run grocery stores where they will, quote-unquote, set the prices. He's talked about taking properties, rental properties, away from private owners and creating government-run housing. We all know how well that currently works out. This is a guy who has already made it very clear he does not like capitalism. He does not believe in capitalism. He believes it's the worst thing since I don't know. He doesn't like capitalism. He's an anti-capitalist. We know how bad this guy is. And this is though is the where all of the energy, this socialist, this modern day progressive neo-Marxist socialist movement is where all of the energy is in the Democratic Party, and you're seeing an example of that also not just in New York but also in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where you have a gentleman who is, for lack of a better term, is nothing more than a socialist. In the likes of Mondani, he has now been endorsed by the Minneapolis Democrats to basically be their next mayor. It says here, Omar Fatah's endorsement gives momentum to progressive left's rise after Zohan Mandani's primary win in New York. So the Democratic Socialist member of the Minnesota State Senate won his party's endorsement for the Minnesota mayoral race over the incumbent. This is over the left-wing liberal incumbent, giving momentum to the progressive left's political rise. Omar Fatah, a state senator from Minneapolis's South Side, beat Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry, who served as mayor during the George Floyd protests and through the pandemic. Fatah gained momentum after Zohan Mandani, also a Democratic socialist and state lawmaker, won the primary for New York City mayor. Fatah was first elected to the state Senate in 2020 and won re-election in 2022. He was the first Somali American and Muslim elected to the chamber. He chaired the Higher Education Committee and advanced a plan for free college for families who make less than $80,000. Quote, I'm incredibly honored to be the DFL endorsed candidate for Minneapolis mayor, Fatah said after the endorsement win, referring to the Democratic Farmer Labor Party, the Democratic Party in Minnesota. This endorsement is a message that Minneapolis residents are done with broken promises, vetoes, and politics as usual. It's a mandate to build a city that works for all of us. Now, if he's talking about building a socialist city, let's be honest, socialist cities do not work for any of us. Well, it works for some folks. It works for the politically connected. It works if you are part of the quote unquote party establishment. Yeah, you folks, it'll work for you. But it won't work for most folks. As we've seen as the liberal Democrats, not the progressives, but the liberal Democrats institute government-run policies like I don't know, over regulating insurance companies. We've seen what happened in California, where homeowner insurance is almost impossible to get, and if you get it, it's expensive. If you can get it, you oftentimes can't afford it. We've talked about how items like rent control have not only jacked up rents, but what it's also done is jacked up rents for non-rent control, but it's also affected the quality and availability of rental units, because once someone realizes that the only way in which that I'm basically losing control of my property, they decide, well, I'll just turn it into condos and sell the condos and, get out of the rental business. And that's what winds up happening. And so you wind up, and the people who do stay in the rental industry, they can't afford to fix up their properties because they can't increase rents in order to cover the costs, right? Costs go up. It's called inflation. We've just experienced it. So we've seen where we've seen how it chases businesses out of the state of California. We've seen how it chases them out of the state of New York. It happens time and time again. It is an unmitigated disaster. It happens so often. when they do that. Well, now all of a sudden we're going to start to see that happen. You're going to start to see that happen if this guy gets elected in Minnesota. And by the way, I will just say this to those of you who are friends of mine who are Democrats, because I told you this. These progressives, these Marxists, they're not progressive, they're Marxists, the neo-Marxists. Yeah, they're not just after us, they're after you. They want you gone too, right? Because they want the Matt Taibbis of the world gone. They want the Glenn Greenwalds of the world gone. They want the Bill Maher's of the world and the Dave Stewarts of the world, who are liberals, but at least believe in the system and the form of government that we have. That the disagreement is over, the policy. Their desire is not to upend the entire system. And that's what these guys, these Marxists, that's what they want to do. They want to tear it all down. And they will not be happy until it is all torn down. And that's their story, and they are sticking to it. All right, folks, so that now brings us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com, use the discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces, one word. Get your Hog Holster today. All right, let's see. These are all going to be coming to you from the Babylon Bee, fake news that you can trust. Here we go. Here's the first one. This one in honor of the gentleman who's running for mayor there in Minneapolis. By the way, he is a Somalian. You might be familiar. He kind of resembles the Somalian pirate from Captain Phillips. But anyway, whole different story. It says here, Minneapolis mayoral candidate introduces plan to revitalize city by hijacking other cities and plundering their treasure. Ooh, interesting. All right, then Hunter Biden did an interview recently, and in this interview, he talked about a number of different things, including bad-mouthing all the fellow Democrats that didn't support his dad. But he also came out in defense of illegal immigration. Once again, this is from the Babylon Bee, fake news that you can trust. Hunter Biden warns that without illegal immigrants, the price of prostitutes and crack will skyrocket. Okay, he's not wrong. He's probably not wrong. But I don't think that was the main point of his thing. Now, you may have missed this one. This one, Barack Obama, he did an interview recently. Let me clarify. Not as a part of this interview, but you noticed that Tulsi Gabbard released some information recently about what was going on during the Obama administration, and basically some very, very what looks to be treasonous actions taken by him and his administration. But unfortunately, Obama is arguing. It says here, once again, from the Babylon Bee, fake news that you can trust. Obama argues he can't be charged with treason since he wasn't born in America. Okay. That's funny, but yeah. Anyway, I'm just going to leave that one right there. And then finally, Donald Trump is pushing to have the Washington Commanders renamed back to the Washington Redskins. And rumors has it, and I have not seen the actual communication, so I don't want to say that he has actually said this, but rumor has it that he's actually almost threatened if you don't, that could wind up, we could wind up trying to find a way to block your new stadium funds. So in response, according to the Babylon Bee, fake news that you can trust, let's just say that they had a response. It says here, to secure funding for stadium, Washington Commanders changed name to the Washington Bloodthirsty Indians. That'll make Trump happy, right? Okay, yeah, I know. It's just a joke. It's just a joke, guy. Y'all don't have to trip. Anyway. All right, folks. Well, that's going to bring us to the end of our program. But before we go, we're going to have another quick shout out to our sponsors. We'll start with Hitman Industries. You can find them at hitmanindustries.net. Rifle and pistol caliber barrels available for you to purchase today. We got the California Republican Assembly, the conscience of the Republican Party. Check them out at cragop.org. And then you've got the best in concealed carry tactical holsters available on the market at hogholsters.com, helping Americans wear guns. And then finally, you can find all things tactical, except a gun, at uscombatgear.com. All right, folks, well, that's going to be it for today's program. We very much appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. We will be back tomorrow on Taco Tuesday. Till then, y'all have fun, stay safe, and we will see you mañana.